Hi, I'm Tim O'Brien. I've been an educator for over 50 years, teaching photography for the last 20. Today, I'm going to share the one skill that separates great photos from snapshots, and it has nothing to do with expensive cameras. It's about learning to see light before you ever raise your phone. Let's dive in. The skill is this: see the light before you raise your phone, not the subject, not the composition, not the perfect moment, the light. And here's why that changes everything. Most people do this backwards. They see something interesting, a person, a landscape, a moment worth remembering, and they immediately raise their phone, frame it quickly, and tap the button. Then they look at the result and wonder why it doesn't match what they saw with their eyes. The colors seem off. The shadows are too harsh. The whole image feels flat. And here's the thing, it's not your camera's fault. Your eyes and brain work together in ways your camera simply can't replicate. When you look at a scene, your brain is constantly adapting or compensating for harsh shadows, adjusting for bright spots, filling in details. You're not seeing what's actually there. You're seeing what your brain has processed and enhanced for you. Your camera, it captures what's actually there, the good, the bad, and the ugly, all of it equally without your brain's helpful adjustments. You're hoping your camera will somehow capture what your brain is showing you. It won't, it can't. But once you learn to see light first, once you notice what the light is doing before you even think about framing, everything changes. You stop taking 50 random shots hoping one works. You take one intentional shot that captures exactly what you saw. So, how do you do it? You ask three simple questions every single time before you raise your camera. These three questions will transform how you see the world. And after a while, they'll become automatic. You won't even think about them consciously. You'll just see differently. Here they are. Stop and look around. Is the light coming from the sun overhead? From a window to your left? From behind your subject, creating a rim of light around their edges? Maybe it's bouncing off a wall or filtering through trees or reflecting off water. Just notice, that's all. Where's the light coming from? When you know where light is coming from, you suddenly understand your entire scene differently. You know where shadows will fall. You know which side of your subject will be lit and which will be dark. You know whether you need to move yourself or move your subject, or just wait for the light to change. You can position yourself or your subject to work with that light instead of fighting against it. And that's when photography stops being guesswork and starts being intentional. Light doesn't just exist, it acts, it has agency. It creates shadows, highlights textures, separates your subject from the background, flattens depth, or creates dimension. Look at your scene and notice, is the light creating drama with strong, defined shadows? Is it wrapping around your subject softly, like a gentle embrace? Is it creating a rim of brightness around edges? Is it making colors vibrant and saturated? Or is it washing them out into pale versions of themselves? The light is already doing something. It's already at work in your scene. Your job isn't to create light, that's beyond your control most of the time. Your job is to notice what the light is already doing and decide if it's working for what you want to show. If the light is creating harsh shadows under someone's eyes, that's what it's doing. You can't wish that away, but you can move the person. You can wait for different light. You can choose not to shoot right now. If the light is hitting the side of a building and creating this beautiful pattern of light and shadow, that's what it's doing. You can position yourself to emphasize that pattern or you can ignore it. But first, you have to notice it. This is where most people get confused. So let me make it simple. Light comes in two basic qualities, hard and soft. Hard light comes from a small direct source.
The sun at midday is hard light. It's essentially a point source in the sky, and it creates sharp, defined shadows with crisp edges. A bare light bulb is hard light. A camera flash is hard light. You know hard light when you see it because the shadows it creates have clear, distinct edges. Soft light comes from a large diffused source. An overcast sky is soft light. The clouds are scattering the sun's light across the entire sky, so it's coming from everywhere at once. The light in open shade is soft. Light bouncing off a white wall is soft. You know soft light when you see it because shadows are gentle with gradual transitions from light to dark. Sometimes there are barely any shadows at all. Neither is better or worse. They're just different. They serve different purposes. Hard light creates drama, definition, and contrast. It separates elements clearly. It can be beautiful. Think of the long shadows at sunset or the way morning light streams through a window. Soft light creates mood, gentleness, and even illumination. It's forgiving. It wraps around subjects smoothly. It's often easier to work with, especially for portraits. The question isn't which type of light is right. The question is which type of light serves your subject better? What are you trying to show, and what quality of light will help you show it? When you can answer these three questions, where's the light coming from? What's it doing? And what quality is it? You're no longer guessing. You're making informed decisions. The light is telling you whether to shoot now, or wait, or move, or come back later. Let me show you what this looks like in practice with real examples. Here's a photo most people would take without thinking twice. A subject, let's say a person, standing outside in the middle of the day. Bright sun overhead. They raise their phone, frame the shot, take the picture. The result: harsh shadows under the eyes, nose, and chin. The person is squinting because the sun is so bright. The top of their head is overexposed, too bright, losing detail. The shadows under their features are so dark you can barely see any detail there. Everything looks harsh and unflattering. Where was the light coming from? Straight down from overhead. What was the light doing? Creating unflattering shadows and extreme contrast. What quality was the light? Hard, very hard, direct midday sun. This is bad light for this subject. The light is working against you, not for you. Now, same subject, same location, but I've waited 2 hours. The sun has moved lower in the sky. Now the light is coming from the side at about a 45-degree angle. It's still direct sunlight, so it's still hard light, but now instead of coming from overhead, it's coming from the side. Suddenly there's dimension. Light on one side of the face, gentle shadow on the other. The eyes are clear and open because the person isn't squinting into overhead sun. The shadows have shape and purpose. They're creating form, showing the structure of the face rather than just darkening it randomly. Same camera, same subject, same location, different light, different photograph. That's not a small difference. That's the difference between a snapshot you'd delete and a portrait you'd keep. Now look at this scene. The light is coming from behind and slightly to the side of the subject. Photographers call this backlighting or rim lighting. It's creating a glow around the edges of the subject, separating them visually from the background. The quality of the light is soft because the sun is low and filtered. It's late afternoon and the sun is coming through some atmospheric haze or maybe some thin clouds. I didn't create this light. I didn't set it up. I just noticed it was already there. And because I noticed it before I raised my camera, I knew exactly where to position myself to capture it. I knew to place myself so the light would rim the edges of my subject. I knew the background would go slightly darker, creating separation and emphasis. This is what seeing the light means. It means noticing what's already happening and positioning yourself to work with it. Not every situation gives you perfect light. Sometimes you're stuck with what you have. You can't wait. You can't come back later. The moment is now, and the light is what it is. But even then, noticing the light first helps you make better decisions. I was photographing in harsh overhead sun, normally terrible for photography. But I noticed something. The harsh light was creating interesting patterns of shadow and highlight on the ground, strong geometric shapes, high contrast between the lit areas and the shadowed areas. So instead of fighting the harsh light by trying to photograph a person or an object that would look bad in that light, I changed what I was photographing. I photographed the patterns the light was making. I worked with the light instead of against it. The principle stays the same. Notice the light first, then decide how to work with it. Sometimes that means waiting. Sometimes that means moving. Sometimes that means changing what you're photographing entirely. When you start practicing this, noticing the light before you shoot, several things happen. First, you slow down, and that's a good thing. Photography isn't about volume. It's not about taking 100 photos and hoping one is good. It's about intention. Professionals don't take more photos because they shoot faster. They take better photos because they think before they shoot. Slowing down to notice the light means you're being intentional. You're making choices, not hoping for luck. Second, you start seeing light everywhere all the time. It becomes automatic. You'll walk into a room and immediately notice where the window light is falling. You'll step outside and instinctively assess the quality and direction of the light. You'll find yourself noticing beautiful light even when you don't have your camera with you. This isn't extra work. It doesn't feel like a burden. It becomes how you see the world. And honestly, it makes the world more beautiful because you're noticing things most people walk right past. Third, your keeper rate goes way up. Instead of taking 50 photos and hoping one is decent, you'll take 10 photos and know that 3 will be excellent because you're no longer guessing. You're no longer hoping your camera will somehow compensate for bad light. You're choosing when to shoot based on whether the light is working for you. And fourth, and this is important, you stop blaming your equipment. I've shot with $10,000 professional cameras. I've shot with phones that cost a few $100s. The equipment changes, the features change. The megapixels and the sensors and the computational photography all change. But the fundamental doesn't change. Light is light. If you can see it, if you can understand what it's doing, you can photograph it. The camera is just the tool that records what you've already learned to see. A better camera won't fix bad light, but good light makes any camera look brilliant. So here's what I want you to do. Before you take your next photo, whether it's tomorrow or next week or right after you finish watching this video, stop. Don't raise your phone yet. Ask yourself these 3 questions. Where's the light coming from? What's it doing? What quality is it? Just notice, that's all. Just notice the light before you shoot. Do that 10 times, just 10 times. I promise you, after 10 times of consciously noticing the light, you'll start seeing.
That's the skill that transforms phone photography, seeing the light first. If you want personalized help applying this to your own photos, I offer one-on-one Zoom coaching. Check the link in the description. No, thanks so much for watching.